Call this Altoona City Council meeting to order Monday, May 13th at 6 p.m. We'll now pause for a moment of silent prayer. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Linda, would you take the roll call, please?
Councilman Beatty?
Here.
Councilman Butterbaugh?
Here.
Councilwoman Klinich? Here. Councilman Ellis?
Here.
Councilman Ickes?
Here.
Councilman Kelly is absent and may be running a little late. Mayor Pacifico?
Here. All right, we'll open the floor for public comment. If anybody would like to address council, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and please keep your comments to 5 minutes.
Devin Saylor, 1409 13th Street. I just wanted to say thanks again, City, for helping out with the second annual Biggin from the Red Up Altoona Foundation. We had 27 volunteers come out, picked about 45 bags of garbage. Special thanks to Nate and Mr. Bechtel and the Public Works guys from picking that stuff up. We really do greatly appreciate it and the continued support. We are now planning to have about 12 more cleanups throughout the year that'll be scheduled out, of which I will get that information to you, Nate, and you guys, if you will continue to help us in our efforts. But once again, thank you guys so much. For the bottom of my heart, we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's no more public comment, we'll close the floor and move into the resolutions.
Item A is approving the minutes of the Altoona City Council meeting held Monday, April 8th, 2024. Item B is approving ABCD Corp. City of Altoona ARPA revolving loan fund parameters, First Amendment, attached here too. Item C is appointing Alan Thompson of 201 East Hudson Avenue to the Zoning Hearing Board as an alternate member for the remainder of a vacant 3-year term. Said term shall expire the first Monday of January 2027. Item D is rejecting all bids received for the Spring Run Stream Restoration Project and returning the bid security. Item E is awarding the Pleasant Village Lighting Improvements Phase 2 to TSB of Latrobe in the amount of $99,134.60 payable from CDBG funds, and further authorizing the interim city manager to execute all documents and the city clerk to attest to same. Item F is awarding the improvements and upgrades of 29th to 30th Street, Broad Avenue, and Beale Avenue stormwater and signals to Amaron Construction of State College in the amount of $739,974.17 payable from ARPA funds and Greenlight Go grant funds, and further authorizing the interim city manager to execute all documents and the city clerk to attest to same. Item G is awarding the 25th to 28th Broad and Beale Avenue storm water improvements to Key to K Construction of Houstontown, Pennsylvania in the amount of $1,353,890.51 payable from ARPA funds, and further authorizing the interim city manager to execute all documents and the city clerk to attest to same. Item H is awarding the Booker T. Washington parking lot expansion to Amaron Construction of State College in the amount of $250,367.50 payable from ARPA funds, and further authorizing the interim city manager to execute all documents and the city clerk to attest to same. Item I is awarding fire station painting project to Graham Boys of Claysville, Pennsylvania in the amount of $63,700 payable from ARPA funds, and further authorizing the interim city manager to execute all documents and the city clerk to attest to same. Item J is awarding the fire station number 1 brick repointing and window replacement to Clark Contractors of Bedford in the amount of $128,350.13 payable from ARPA funds, and further authorizing the interim city manager to execute all documents and the city clerk to attest to same. Item K is authorizing a roadway lighting agreement with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for installation and maintenance of a lighting system for SR 36-31B, as shown in Exhibit A, which I shared with you in the email. It was a pretty large document, so I wasn't able to attach it. Lighting plan of the agreement, and further authorizing the interim city manager to sign the agreement and the city clerk to attest to same. Item L, where's my mouse? Is adopting the 2024 HUD Annual Action Plan for CDBG and Home Investment Partnership Programs, and authorizing the mayor to execute all documents and certifications, in the city clerk to file appropriate statements, certification, and meeting minutes with HUD. Item M is awarding the 2025 to 29 HUD Consolidated Plan contract for CDBG program and home investment program, and the fair housing analysis of impediments to Urban Design Ventures of Homestead, PA, in the amount of $48,500, and additional program preparation as outlined in the contract on an as-needed basis, payable from CDBG funds, and further authorizing the interim city manager to execute all documents and the city clerk to attest to same. Item N is amending the 2022 CDBG program, transferring $82,130.76 from the CDBG administration to the single-family rehab program. Item O is amending the 2023 CDBG program, transferring $35,956.80 from the CDBG administration to the blighted property program. Item P is approving a repository bid in the amount of $50 submitted by David Wolfslegel of Juniata for property located at 10,001 4th Avenue, and further authorizing the interim city manager to execute the taxing district form. Item G is approving a repository bid in the amount of $75 submitted by David Wolfslegel of Juniata for property located at 10,003 to 05 4th Avenue, and further authorizing the interim city manager to execute the taxing district form. Item R is approving a repository bid in the amount of $200 submitted by Jacqueline Ertwine of 1015 19th Avenue for property located at 1011 19th Avenue, and further authorizing the interim city manager to execute the taxing district form. Item S is approving a repository bid. These are two bids in the amount of $250 submitted by Courtney Wynn of Lyons, Georgia, for one of the properties is located at 1521 20th Avenue, and in the amount of $250 for a property located at 819 6th Avenue, and further authorizing this interim city manager to execute the taxing district forms. Item T is approving repository bids in the amount of $500 submitted by Easy Home Network of Winter Garden, Florida, for property located at 719 North 5th Avenue, in the amount of $250 for property located at 306 Maple Avenue, in the amount of $250 for property located at 2005 to 07 3rd Avenue, in the amount of $500 for property located at 2015 13th Avenue, in the amount of $750 for property located at 3127 to 33 7th Avenue, and further authorizing the interim city manager to execute the taxing district forms. Item U is approving repository bids in the amount of $250, I believe, each of them. I'm not going to say the amount. They're each in the amount of $250, submitted by Brock Clinton of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, for property located at 400 7th Avenue, 402 7th Avenue, 3318 6th Avenue, 3320 6th Avenue, 810 6th Avenue, 819 6th Avenue, 2409 Oak Avenue, 1825 Walton Avenue, and 607 3rd Avenue, and further authorizing the interim city manager to execute the taxing district forms. Is there anything that needs to be deleted or pulled for separate vote?
I'd like to pull STU for
STU.
separate vote, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to call for the consent vote on all items excluding S, T, and U. Councilman Beatty,
Yes.
Councilman Butterbaugh,
Yes.
Councilwoman Klinich,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ellis,
Yes.
Councilman Ickes,
Yes.
Councilman Kelly is absent, Mayor Pacifico.
Yes.
And the vote passes 6-0. It's under here somewhere. There we go. Okay. Okay, we're going to go to item S, which is approving repository bids in the amount of $250 submitted by Courtney Wynn of Lyons, Georgia, for property located at 1521 20th Avenue, and in the amount of $250 for property located at 819 6th Avenue, and further authorizing the interim city manager to execute the taxing district form. Councilman Beatty?
No.
Councilman Butterbaugh?
No.
Councilwoman Klinich? No. Vice Mayor Ellis?
No.
Councilman Ickes?
No.
Councilman Kelly is absent. Mayor Pacifico?
No.
And the vote does not pass 0-6. Item T is approving repository bids in the amount of $500 submitted by Easy Home Network of Winter Garden, Florida, for property located at 719 North 5th Avenue, in the amount of $250 for property located at 306 Maple Avenue, in the amount of $250 for property located at 2005 to 07 3rd Avenue, in the amount of $500 for property located at 2015 13th Avenue, in the amount of $750 for property located at 3127 to 33 7th Avenue, and further authorizing the interim city manager to execute the taxing district form. Councilman Beatty?
No.
Councilman Butterbaugh?
No.
Councilwoman Klinich?
No.
Vice Mayor Ellis?
No.
Councilman Ickes?
No.
Councilman Kelly is absent. Mayor Pacifico?
No.
The vote does not pass 0-6. And then on item U, these are all, each one of them is in the amount of $250 submitted by repository bids submitted by Brock Clinton of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, for property located at 400 7th Avenue, for property located at 402 7th Avenue, for property located at 3318 6th Avenue, 3320 6th Avenue, 810 6th Avenue, 819 6th Avenue, 2409 Oak Avenue, 1825 Walton Avenue, and 607 3rd Avenue, and further authorizing the interim city manager to execute the taxing district forms. Councilman Beatty?
No.
Councilman Butterbaugh?
No.
Councilwoman Klinich?
No.
Vice Mayor Ellis?
No.
Councilman Ickes?
No.
Councilman Kelly is absent. Mayor Pacifico?
No.
The vote does not pass 0-6.
Before we get on with the rest of the meeting, I need to go back. I forgot to announce executive sessions. So on April 8th, 22nd, and the 30th, we had executive sessions for personnel and potential litigation and real estate. So with that, we'll open the floor back up for public comment. Okay, now we will close the floor again. City manager updates. Nate?
Thank you, Mayor. Well, first and foremost, I'd like to introduce Christina Nota Francesco. I think I got that right. She's our new HR director here at the city. She started last week. She's on day 6. She came back after her first week, so that's a bonus for the city. She's learning a lot of new faces. There's only one of her and, over 250 of us, so we're thankful she's on board, and she's rolling her sleeves up and getting to work on the issues that we've had over the past couple of months. So welcome and thank you. Second on the list here, Prospect Pool, Ventura Construction Services. Bravely was out today. All hands on deck. I believe we got the pool painted. At least it was about 3/4 of the way painted when I left up there about 3:30. So that's looking good for a Memorial Day opening. So I'd just like to thank HR, Linda, Kim, Kevin with Public Works. I don't know, I'm probably missing a bunch of people, but for a lot of people that isn't their sole job, they've really stepped up and got us into a better place. We have a lot more applicants for employees this year. We were able to just sort of manipulate the system, and we had people doing things that they normally didn't do, so everybody did a bunch of heavy lifting. So that was nice, and I think the fruits of our success were out there for us all to see. So we just found out, I believe Friday, that we were successful in landing a partial grant for our MAP, which is a municipal assistance program. And Blair Planning helped us put that together. Sherry Sosi wrote the grant for us. I believe that was $75 of $135,000 that we will put towards our saldo and zoning ordinance changes. So that was positive. The Memorial Day parade is the 27th, starting at 10:30. At least that's the downtown one. And I just want to send a shout out to APD, the fire department, Public Works, because every parade needs traffic control to help out. So hats off to you guys. And just very quickly, I guess, the agenda was filled with a lot of Recovery Act projects, and just wanted to send a shout out to engineering and also Public Works, just because there's a lot of work that went into having those projects on the agenda and getting them out and being fluid and changing things at the last minute, and wouldn't have happened without the expertise that we have in those departments. So thank you all. And then just in the last month, I've spent a great deal of time just learning more about all the departments, and I can't even stress enough what I've learned just in the past month with what everybody does in the background to get to this point with Rebecca and repository bids and all the codes issues that they deal with, Diana and her department with some of the things that she deals with. I mean, just a wealth of knowledge that we're really blessed there. So that's all.
Thank you, Nate, and thank you, everybody. We'll move on to council discussion. Councilman Ickes.
I have nothing this evening, Mayor. Thanks.
Councilman Butterball.
Just wanted to say thanks to our Public Works folks. I know this is a tough time of year going into summer and transitioning, and always lots of work. Same with codes. It's a crazy time of year for codes as we head from spring into summer, and so just thanks. And then also everybody really stepping up for Prospect Bowl, doing a great job there too. And as Nate was saying, everybody coming together and helping Nate transition into the interim manager position here too. So thanks a lot.
Thanks. Councilman Ellis.
Yes, Mayor. I want to thank everyone involved in the Prospect Poll. That's a second annual event to get this moving on, and I think the proof's in the pudding that people are stepping up and the community's starting to get more interested and involved in it, and the fact that there's more people willing to apply for jobs there is a step in the right direction too. Also, Nate, I want to thank you for the Booker T parking thing. That was a project that was sort of a pet project of mine. I thought it was important that we get that taken care of because of the lack of parking and the issues in the neighborhood when we're taking parking from the neighbors. So I think that'll be a good project. And also, it's National Police Week, Appreciation Week, so acknowledge our police department. Thank you.
Thank
Yep.
you.
With
Councilman Beatty.
With Prospect Park, we should be having passes available, at opening day, and then we're going to have a diving board this year if everything goes well. So we'll be serving a little bit better or broader range of young people up there. So, and the old people might like it too. So, but thank you.
Councilwoman Klinich.
I have nothing, Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Questions from the media?
Thank you. Could somebody explain what the ABCD revolving loan amendment is about?
Yeah, Bill, that was just to provide further clarification to two aspects. One is priority of projects. As you'll recall, and as was in the original guidelines, the big part of this was to increase the tax base for the city. And this just further defines that to include projects which provide market rate housings. That's something the council's been talking about for quite a long time. So that's part of it. And then the other part was just, in the application process is just, for anyone who's, going to be involved in a project like that, at least at the time they apply, they got to be in good standing with codes. Can't have any unremedied or outstanding code issues. And quite frankly, I think that's a very reasonable requirement and consistent with the stance the city has been taking over the last several years with respect to, dealing with blight.
Thanks, Tom. Why did the city reject all the bids for Spring Run project? Why did the city reject the bids for Spring Run, the Spring Run project?
Bill,
Oh,
that bid on the spring run restoration come in over budget. We kind of reworked the project to eliminate some of the work and do the work that was most necessary. And we're going to see how a couple of these other ARPA bids come in. And if we need that to spend ARPA money and to fix the necessary parts above the spray park, we'll bid it at that time.
okay. Oh, you mean this project was to protect the spray park? Is that?
Part of it, it's that stretch of Spring Run that flows behind the spray park.
Okay.
It's tree trimming, bank armoring, and there was some gravel bar removal which was eliminated.
So you said that you revised the project and then rebid it, or you're going to?
We have it ready to rebid if necessary.
Nate, could you explain whether and how the projects that were bid today or were awarded today, the grants, the contracts that were awarded today, will have effect on preventing flooding, if they will, on the stormwater projects?
I mean, I think that the projects that we bid today, Bill, are more, they're going to prevent flooding in a very localized area, but the projects along Broad and Beale Avenue have been a nuisance for a long, there just aren't any facilities that exist. So when it rains really hard, the water comes off of the hillsides beside, the Broad and Beale Avenue and just really run down around half of one of the lanes. So it's more of a nuisance flow than maybe like going into people's basements along that line. So it serves a big area, I guess. We were able to pick a huge area and get a lot of benefit for a lot of people, and then also we put some spurs into it and some end catch basins so that the public works folks can, kind of build off of there in the future. So we were able to take care
So
of
that's
it.
actually new piping altogether, not?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Would anybody care to comment on the CDBG/Home Investment Partnership Program slate for this year?
This is just the regular application that we submit to in May. And so we got about as much money as we expected to get, which is good news. We just heard that last week. And so we have a number of different projects in there, and we expect to hear back. I'm hoping to have a contract by August.
You mean from HUD?
From HUD, yeah. We have to submit it for their approval.
Is there any particular projects, I mean, I've written about it already, but any particular projects you want to highlight as?
Well, we're trying to, we have to meet certain goals that are set forth in our consolidated plan. And so we typically fund housing rehab. It's both rental and owner-occupied housing rehab. We still have some money in there for the emergency roof program, which council started funding, I guess, really 2 funding years ago. And we have a little bit of money in there for public services and public works, but I didn't bring my list in front of me. Still, I'm on the spot right now, but we did our best to make sure that we address our priorities and also align really with what our new comprehensive plan wants to do as well, which is especially improve the housing stock.
Do you expect that the consolidated plan that you hired a company to do for the next 5 years, not this year, but the next 5, are going to retain the same priorities, or do you think they'll change?
They may change. We'll have a lot of public input, and I expect they'll shift a little bit, but I can't predict that. Just like with the comprehensive plan, things bubbled up out of that process and we didn't expect. But I don't think it'll be a cookie cutter process by any means. And the consultant will reach out to a number of stakeholders. We'll have a lot of virtual meetings. And then we'll also have public input to that process. And that's a 1-year long process. And then hopefully we'll have a budget next year again around May. And I'll also, be finished at that point. But yeah, they could change because a lot has changed since the last one. I mean, we've had COVID and various things happen since then.
Hate to put you on the spot further. Do you remember what the main priorities are for this current plan?
Oh, I really can't list those out for you, but I can tell you that housing was one of the top one. It was the top priority. I could give you a 95% on that. I should have brought my book with me.
That's okay. That is a requirement of HUD, right?
Yes.
For this funding to do it every 5 years?
Every 5 years, correct.
Is there any progress on the hiring of a permanent manager? Can anybody say? Okay.
But the current interim one's doing a great job.
And then, Nate, you were talking about a grant application, I think, for money to get the saldo and the zoning revisions done. Good.
Okay, that's the municipal assistance program, and it's DCED funding to assist with things like updating comprehensive plans, et cetera. So they will fund up to 50% of a project. They had a lot of competition this year. I guess from what I understand from Blair Planning in the past, it wasn't real heavy competition, but the word's out. So I can't tell you the number of projects, but it looked like there was a long list of projects they funded. So we did pretty well considering. So we applied for $135,000 and we got $75,000, and that'll defray about 25% of the cost.
Which is two.
Making me do math.
Well,
like
okay, I can do the math myself.
Yeah,
I guess that's
270 or.
okay.
Yeah,
But you
so
say it'll defray about 25% of the cost.
about 25% of the cost, which is great. That's 25% we don't have to spend out of our funds.
And that's already started. Is that right?
No, that's not started.
Oh, okay.
We had an informal meeting when the consultant was in town just to sort of hash out what our issues are just with staff. But the real process doesn't start until after the comprehensive plan is adopted.
And how long do the CZB expect to take on that?
About a year.
Okay. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.